sometimes there's no reason why. Stop trying to assign blame to literally everything. If you're going to be so hung up on people with their excuses, then don't look for someone to blame. Just fix the problem. Hi, I'm Kate, and welcome to Always Tuck and Roll. We discuss life, the universe, autism, and pretty much everything else because sky's the limit. And what else do we got to do today? Today I kind of want to talk about reasons versus excuses. And the fact that I don't know that anyone actually truly knows the difference. To the point where I went and looked them up because I wasn't sure that I knew the difference. And my personal history would also indicate that maybe I don't know the difference. So let's find out. A reason. A cause, explanation, or justification for an action or an event. That seems pretty straightforward to me. Movie over? Probably not. Let's see what the other definition is. Excuse. A reason or explanation given to justify a fault or offense. Those are similar. Very, very similar. The fact that they both basically, we've got reason is a cause, explanation, or justification of an action or event. But an excuse is a reason or explanation given to justify a fault or offense. Again, well, I'm not going to read them again. We did that twice, so hopefully I've put them up on the screen because that's helpful information to have. I feel like those are so similar that that's where the problem lies, realistically, because there are plenty of instances in life where there are reasons for things going sideways or just failing miserably. But if you try to tell someone what happened, you're going to get, "Don't give me that excuse." And okay, but you wanted to know what happened. I'm not even assigning blame, I'm literally explaining what happened, and all of a sudden I'm culpable and in trouble for this? I'm certainly not. Back in the day, I worked for a person who, I worked for a person who'd never accepted any sort of reason or excuse or anything. You just had to apologize and move on. But then I realized that I've actually worked for two people that would never listen to reason in any way, shape, or form. Like, I mean, not. If it didn't come out of their mouths, they did not care what you had to say. They were just going to yell at you and blame you for crazy stuff. The example I was initially using was this CEO who, specific example, so that it doesn't just sound like I'm complaining that he just yelled for yelling's sake a lot. I used to help administer a program that was through a federal grant, so it probably doesn't exist anymore. And it was to help unemployed veterans get retrained as energy auditors. So, then also training them to do building retrofits so that they were weatherizing homes. It was a wonderful program. I was so proud to be a part of it. It was actually why it was my Vista job to help create that program. So I was passionate about it. We had a federal database that we uploaded all of our information to every time we checked in with our crew members, every time like they got a milestone, like graduated certificate, got a job, anything like that. All of that had to go in because we were tracking people. And somewhere in the federal database there was a glitch, and like 6 months of our work was not saved. And we were not informed of that until all of a sudden we were not in compliance anymore. And that was really heartbreaking and frustrating. But myself and my counterpart had all of the paper documentation of everything we did. And so we made these really elaborate spreadsheets and everything. But our CEO didn't actually care. He was blaming us for a federal computer glitch. Why didn't we do it? Well, we did. Nope, no excuses. It didn't happen, clearly, because they're saying we didn't do this and they're going to fine us. And we even got our contact with the federal government, part of that grant program, to call the CEO and tell him exactly what happened and that we were not at fault. There was no way we could be at fault because we don't have the access to the database that way to have broken it this way. And that we did prove that we had done all of the work and we were in fact in compliance, just not in the federal system because they were still fixing what was broken. And the CEO did not care. He just didn't care that we had an outside source, someone from the place that had said that we screwed up in the first place, admit that we were not at fault. And I was still yelled at and told no excuses. What was I even supposed to be excusing? That environment, that was not the only time that I got the worst. I can't even remember what I allegedly did or didn't do or should have known about but was on vacation for, but I got put in a dark room with no windows and yelled at for 4 consecutive hours. I still am dealing with trauma from that, and that was in like 2012. And here we are in 2025, dealing with the sun coming and going really far and just messing with my camera. So we're just going to ignore that and all of the background noise that I can't control. So I think that a big part of the breakdown in reasons and excuses is that too many people are under the assumption that everyone else is out to get them and to set them up for failure, that when something does go wrong, whether or not there is like actual fault or just, pure dumb luck that things went awry, they're never going to hear you out. Some people are never going to hear you out because they don't understand that reasons are reasons. They're not always excuses. Sometimes things just happen. Sometimes the computer system just glitches 6 months of your work out. And this isn't a save your work. No, you can click every button under the sun. We did everything right. We checked. But again, that man did not care because I don't ever want to hear you make another excuse. I learned at that job to just apologize, which is really fun because as someone clearly raised female, I societally apologize for my very existence half the time. Oh, I'm sorry you bumped into me. Oh, I'm sorry that I'm taking up space in my airplane seat that I paid for, manspreader. I'm sorry that my food allergies are making it hard for us to eat. I apologize for stuff that I have nothing to do with, that have just exist. Yeah, why is it difficulty with me? Because I'm allergic to everything under the sun. My excuse for why I won't eat with people most of the time is that I don't like most food and I don't want to make it hard for you. Because I am also a picky eater in addition to allergic. My excuse is that I am picky. My reason is that I'm allergic. See, I can do it too. My mom always said that I had excuses for days. And maybe I do. Maybe I still don't understand the difference between reasons or excuses, but I do know that no one else does either. And it's not just because the definitions are, similar. You use most of the same words. But then you see crap like, I looked at a lot of memes, because if you want to understand the full scope of something, see how it's being used in pop culture, you know? And then you get things like, don't make excuses for why you can't get it done. Focus on all the reasons why you must make it happen. And like, I understand the spirit of that, but it also like completely ignores that some things are actually just sadly impossible. I hate to say it, I'm sorry. Some things are impossible. It sucks. Facts of life, right? Then you get crap like, an excuse is the skin of a lie wrapped in a reason. No, it's not. Also, some excuses are legitimately valid. Like, I didn't know. Sorry. I didn't know is totally a valid excuse for something. If you legit did not know something, I would say your excuse is a valid reason. Because excuses are about not accepting culpability. But the thing is like, not everyone's culpable for everything, so we shouldn't just accept blame for stuff that we had nothing to do with. I had nothing to do with the federal computer database at all. I put information in. That's all I could do. Couldn't take information out because I didn't have that capability. Not that it mattered. Yeah, and then there's a George Washington Carver quote, 99% of the failures come from people who have the habit of making excuses. Well, and yet maybe I have had a lot of failures in my life, but I learned from failure more than I learned from success. Would I rather be successful? Probably, yeah, but you know what? Being successful is really exhausting. And I'm tired. Not that I want to be a failure. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is that I am not articulate today. I'm filming like early in the morning. I don't usually do it like the second the apartment's empty, but it is Thursday again, and here's a reason. Pete was home yesterday. I cannot film while Pete is home. I just can't. That's this is, I mean, it's not a studio apartment, but all of our things are kind of in the same space, and I don't want to disturb him while he's working, and I also don't want to make him have to stay in one room that doesn't have food in it. And yeah, I can't just take over the kitchen, and I didn't feel like filming in the bedroom. It's noisier in the bedroom these days. And that sounded... I have neighbors, so many neighbors, and they are so loud, plus the grounds crew outside, and reasons. The reason I don't like to film on Thursdays is because it's a noisy day outside, especially if you wait till mid-morning. So here I am trying to crank it out. And yeah, was having Pete home yesterday, was that an excuse for not filming? Because I didn't really have a full sussed out idea? Sure. Not that I have a full sussed out one today, obviously. I'm still gonna say valid excuse. Because yes, technically I could have gone into another room, but it still wouldn't have worked, because we kind of need all of the spaces at once. It's not a very big space, and everything is tucked into everywhere, so it just doesn't work. Have to be. Plus, maybe my biggest excuse, I'm still getting comfortable with this whole thing, and don't know that I can do it with anyone else around, even Pete, even though I have no secrets from Pete at all, realistically. No, I don't have any. I think that a big part of the breakdown here is also, at least in my case, that I'm autistic. So a lot of the time when I go looking for why something went wrong, it then looks like I am trying to escape blame to people, because again, everyone thinks that everyone else is out to get them. And I kind of feel that way too sometimes because historically they are. But I'm trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. Not everyone is out to screw me over. So I'm trying to be better about accepting excuses as reasons, because sometimes an excuse is, as long as we're not like shirking all of the responsibility, I don't see what the big deal is. But one thing that all of these has just completely ignored is the concept of mental health, because again, I'm autistic, and that makes how I perceive and just exist through life wildly different than other people. And so I found a graphic that was mental illness, a reason or an excuse. So reason, it can be a reason when it involves self-awareness, acceptance that the illness can cause certain limitations, taking responsibility. It's a big one. Empowerment to take action to manage outcomes. And excuse, it can be an excuse when it involves a lack of self-awareness and understanding, not taking responsibility, not taking preemptive steps to manage consequences, and disempowerment from taking action. And I agree with that. I want to argue with it, but I suspect that it's just that, like, I feel a little called out in some of those excuses because I can excuse my way out of a lot of stuff. But generally speaking, the stuff that I'm gonna, like, give excuses for is stuff that only ever affects me. It's something that I'll give myself excuses for because I'm the one that's gonna listen to my excuses at this point in time. And I'll accept my excuses until I'm ready to move on and move forward. Which sounds crazy, but it's my system and it works. And I've got different limitations that I can tolerate my own stuff. And there's another video I want to work on soon that also touches on a little bit of my avoidant nature. Because honestly, my excuses to my own self are a big part of my own, like, personal avoidance problems. Isn't that fun? But that's like a preview for another day. Who knows? So, I don't know that I actually have an overarching point. I think that in the world today, what I've witnessed is that there is an overarching lack of accountability, but also an overarching lack of people refusing to give anyone the benefit of the doubt for any reason. And I know I'm guilty of both things, and I think maybe we all need to try and do better. Not every reason is an excuse. Some reasons are reasons. Some excuses are reasons, and we just need to accept that some things are bad, some things are broken, some things are impossible. And that's okay. We don't like to accept that some things are impossible or bad, and I get that people have become really famous because nothing's impossible. Until you can bring people back from the dead then some things are impossible. I'm just saying. And maybe that's me being hyperbolic, but have you met me? This is me. So, I would ask, going forward, I know that I'm going to try and do this, and we'll see how long it lasts. But hear people out. Listen to their excuse. Is it valid? Like, what was the thing that went wrong in the first place? Is there actually a way that anyone is culpable? Because some things are just, sometimes gravity gets in the way. Sometimes the universe goes wrong, or a wire shorts, or lightning strikes. Sometimes there's no reason why. Stop trying to assign blame to literally everything. If you're going to be so hung up on people with their excuses, then don't look for someone to blame. Just fix the problem. However, you can figure out how to do that. Because that's what I think. I think a lot of the time, especially the people who have yelled at me over stupid stuff that was not actually my job, responsibility, or in any way I am culpable of, they're just mad that there's a problem. Not every problem has to have someone to blame. Let's just look for a solution. And does every problem have a solution? Probably not. Life is not tied up in a neat little bow as much as we would like it to. If it was, again, we wouldn't have really, really bright screen and really, really dark screen rapid fire in this video, okay? That's life. It's messy. Some excuses are valid. Most reasons are valid. Get over yourselves. I'm getting over myself on some level here. And let's just try to understand people's intent and not just the inarticulate explanations you're getting. Whole pictures here, not just blinders on laser focus. And if you know me, you know this is a little rich coming from me, but I have been making a very concentrated effort to give people the benefit of the doubt. So, guys, not all reasons are excuses. We should accept reasons for what they are and move forward. I mean, I do love to know why things went wrong, but I don't want to have to always assign blame on it. I just want to know what broke so that I can maybe get ahead of it in the future. That's all. And I don't know why you would want more than that, but that's me, and I'm not going to subscribe my wants and needs to the rest of you. I just would like everyone to try and give everyone else the benefit of the doubt a little bit more often. The caveat there is if you know something is blatantly ridiculous, like factually blatantly ridiculous, and you can then throw everything I've said out, because you know what, I don't even want to talk politics, but I'm obviously trying to not talk politics. I'm just saying that look at the whole picture. Who is trying to tell you what and why, basically. This was so good until it fell apart. Was it good at all? I don't know. We're just gonna, you know what? I hope that you got something out of this. If only just the actual definition of reason and the actual definition of excuse. If you take nothing else away from this, take that away. Because we like facts, and facts are there. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Give people the benefit of the doubt. But also, if you know that you are culpable, it's okay to accept some blame. It's okay. But don't apologize for everything under the sun. Don't apologize for existing, because I need to get out of that habit a lot, especially in public. But public is so overstimulating that I'm just apologizing for even being there. Clearly, this is not one of my more articulate days. So clearly we're just gonna end as we always do and just tuck and roll on out of here. Not literally though, because like I'll probably hurt myself commando rolling off this couch. So peace out, Cub Scouts. Maybe I still don't understand the difference between reasons or excuses, but I do know that no one else does either.